Welcome to the Early Warning Systems training series. This video is prepared by staff at the Everyone Graduates Center based at Johns Hopkins University in partnership with the New Mexico Department of Education and the High Plains Regional Educational Cooperative. The videos and breakout activities are designed to help your school team implement the planning, design, and problem solving for the implementation of an early warning system. We recommend that you watch and complete these activities with a representative team from your school that will be leading the implementation of your early warning system. The training videos will share background information and set up activities for you to complete with your team and a designated facilitator within your group. Before you start, make sure you've downloaded the video's supplemental materials from the video webpage. The final two videos in the series are focused on getting started, lessons learned from early adopters, and ideas for further exploration and development. If you have had a larger team participate in the activities and discussions around this video series, you will be further ahead in your implementation planning. The most successful implementation of EWS are built around information sharing and staff ownership of the initiative. We recommend that you work through these 5 areas in getting started. Each of these has accompanying videos that are part of this video series. First, provide training for staff on key components and provide ongoing awareness opportunities. Second, identify a point person and an EWS team. Third, identify sources of ABC data and how you will use it. 4, identify resources available and how you access them. And 5, try an EWI or intervention meeting with your team. In addition to these 5 initial steps, your team will identify many further steps as you begin implementation. The team you have convened for the completion of these activities and discussions should form the basis of your work at your school. If your principal is not a member of your planning group, you should engage with your principal first in order to discuss details of EWS and how it can become a part of your whole school vision and framework for supporting students. The second group of individuals to engage are the formal and informal leaders within your staff. These are the individuals who can help to move this forward, or if seen as misaligned with current work, may keep it from moving forward. Our experience reveals it is valuable to engage staff members early to gain awareness, as well as engaging staff in early decisions about the direction of EWS at your school. The goal is that all staff can see how early warning systems can support and add to the current work that they are doing. Early awareness opportunities with staff should focus on the why behind early warning systems, emphasizing the impact that this can have on students, the research that has shown how important success is in these indicators for students, and the importance of this initiative for school and community success. The more staff members that can articulate why EWS is important, the more momentum you can build for implementation. In addition, staff can provide feedback on the types of data formats that are easiest to use, the schedule for meetings, and the type of tools that are most useful for tracking or following conversations. The resource mapping activity discussed in video 2 is a great activity to use for staff training. The activity helps build understanding of tiered interventions, what resources are available within your school, and has the team help build your resource map. Furthermore, you should look for opportunities to recognize the early successes in early warning systems implementation. For instance, when first introducing a structured protocol for EWI meetings, it is often easier to start discussing a student who only has one indicator in order to get used to practicing the process. Learning the process and the use of the protocol while attempting the most challenging situations that a student is facing makes the entire situation more difficult. In implementing this protocol, you are building processes for more effective meetings, reflection, analyzing data, and making decisions, while you are also identifying important supports for a student. Lastly, look for opportunities for alignment with current initiatives. For instance, if your school is implementing positive behavior supports, PBS, or PBIS, or response to intervention, RTI, you should spend a few minutes to determine how EWS aligns with these multi-tiered systems. There can be great alignment between these 3 initiatives, but can be challenging for staff members if they are presented as separate initiatives or projects. To help you begin planning for providing awareness and building ownership of this work, please pause the video and answer the 2 questions on the screen. First, who are the 3 individuals in your school, in addition to your principal, that you need to support this initiative in order for it to be successful? And 2, what are the approaches or reasons to implement EWS that might be most convincing to those 3 individuals? As you think about sharing this information with a broader audience, consider the different ways that you can share this information. Teams have used videos, skits, role-playing, mock meetings, presentations, and other strategies to present and share this information with their colleagues that helps them see how EWS could be used, as well as the key components and background information about the approach. Implementing EWS can be a process that involves all members of your school community. In order to help facilitate this, many schools have identified a point person to lead their implementation efforts for EWS. This is a person who is a trusted member of the faculty, has dedicated time, the authority, as well as having some technical skills to help in preparing data and information for discussions. While strong Microsoft Excel skills are a huge plus, there are other important aspects of this position that should be considered. The data preparation is important, and as we have discussed throughout these videos, must be paired with an organized response. The ability to facilitate and coordinate meetings and ability to help gather momentum among staff members will become important skills for this position. This individual will help the team organize their responses and will need to be able to use strategies to engage the full team in discussion, keep the team on task, and guide the team towards concrete decisions. For instance, in an EWI meeting, the facilitator may need to take an objective stance in order to resolve a disagreement, or may need to ask the group to refocus on the student in order to keep the conversation from wandering into other topics, or may need to ask deeper probing questions so that information is shared with the group that may be helpful in making a decision about a response. This facilitation role and these strategies will help your team to organize your implementation efforts. Providing formal training is often used to help share information about EWS and help your team start to determine next steps. The topics that have been covered during this video series are designed to be used for your EWS team or for a larger group. The 6 main topics most often used in initial training are a session focused on the early warning indicator research, a session focused on the tiered intervention approach and building your resource map, the process of building an EWS team or thinking about how EWS fits into the current team meetings already in place, a session for observing a mock meeting and practicing an EWI meeting, a session on data analysis, and lastly, a session on Tier 1 or preventative interventions. Many schools have used the report card conference introduction as part of this session. We recommend that you complete the first 2 sessions early in your work as they form foundational components and the focus on why this is so important for students and schools. The other training or discussion topics are often used in a different order and adapted based on current initiatives and focus at your school. For the last activity, please pause the video and spend a few minutes to identify your point person, your EWS team, and initial meetings or trainings that you can already plan. You can use the table in your viewer's guide to help frame this conversation.
So how will we know we're making progress? If we adopt an early warning system, if we start using ABC indicator data, build strong human systems to have strategic interventions at the student and class and district level, how will we know that this is making a difference? Well, there's some things we can look for. We'll know that we're making a difference when we have strong prevention strategies and cultures that encourage students to attend, behave, and try. It's just built in to the milieu of the school, that you walk in the building and there's a press always to come, behave, try. We'll know we're making progress when teachers have readily accessible and teacher-friendly diagnostic tools to help them understand, is this an academic issue or a social-emotional issue, that why the student has an early warning indicator. We'll know we're making progress when schools are organized so teams of teachers will work with a manageable number of students they share in common, and they're supported by additional adults that they can get together, pool their knowledge, share their insights on their students, and figure out and have the capacity to sort of provide the interventions needed. We'll know we're making progress when there are clear and supportive pathways to college and career readiness at the scale and intensity required from the 6th grade going forward. More broadly, we'll know we're making progress when schools and districts routinely put forth the focus and energy for preparing for the next cohort of students, who's walking in our door, what their academic challenges are, what their engagement challenges are, what their poverty challenges are, that they prepare for that with the same intensity and focus as professional or even college football teams put into preparing for the next game. Think of how much effort football and college basketball and basketball teams put into watching the tape of the next opponent and adjusting or adapting their strategy based on what they've seen. They don't just have one plan that's the same for each game. Every game they study the tape, of what their opponent's strengths and weaknesses are and adapt their strategy to it. We will know we are making progress when we do the same for each oncoming class of students into our schools. We'll also know we're making progress when we have a sense of collaboration at the school level between teachers and schools and districts and external partners that's similar to sort of the mutually supportive functions we see in putting on a Broadway play. To put on a Broadway play, you need the producer, you need the director, you need the actors, you need the stagehands. Many of these folks don't fundamentally get along. They go to different bars at night, but they all know they have to pull together and do their part well for that play to run. And at the end of the day, their main goal and their main passion is to have that play work more than any sort of interpersonal disputes or feelings or how they're, is this person doing that or this or that. So when we have that sort of mutually supportive sense of we're in this together, we all have to do our role and our part, and really the goal is to make schools succeed for our kids, that's what really gets us excited, then we'll know we're making progress. And finally, when we train with the intensity and smarts of the military, right? When they're training for a mission or they're trying to build a new skill, they go at it hard and long with intensity and focus. And too often in education, we're going to have a big, bold new idea and we're going to provide 2 half days of training and maybe a manual, maybe not, and say good luck. And so we really have to think when we're moving to new strategies, new technologies, new approaches, that to build human skill and capacity takes time and focus and coaching and time to learn and time to dialogue in a sustained, focused, and continuing way. When we have that spirit and those structures in place, we know we're making progress.
This concludes our Getting Started video. In the final video of the series, we will discuss lessons learned from early adopters around implementation components and 2 areas for further exploration. The first is on connecting early warning systems to college and career readiness, and the second is about engaging outside partners in this important work.